Survivor 49? Episode 5 is here, and I have to do Edgic for it? Oh, jeez, I hadn't even noticed. Listen, it's been a real snoozer of a season so far, but I'm still putting in the effort, I'm still putting in the thought to give each and every person in the episode an Edgic rating based on how I think they were edited in that episode, and then I will take those ratings and use them in order to predict who I think is the most to least likely to win this season based on how the season has been edited so far. I've been doing it all season long. I'm going to continue doing it all the way until the very last episode in order to predict accurately who is going to win. So, press that subscribe button if you want to see me continue to make these predictions all season long. And without further ado, let's hop in to episode 5 ratings this week. But first, if you still don't know how Edgic works, basically Edgic is a regimented system that has been used for a long time to analyze the way that each and every person is edited in an episode of Survivor and give them a specific rating in a chart that looks like this. There are 3 different parts to an Edgic rating. The first part is the type of rating. There are 4.5 different types of Edgic ratings. The first is UTR, which stands for under the radar, which means you didn't see very much of that person in the episode. The second is MOR, which stands for middle of the road, which means you saw a little bit of them, but they weren't super fleshed out as a character. The third part is CP, which stands for complex personality, which means you saw a good amount of them and they were pretty fleshed out as a character. And the fourth part is OTT, which stands for over the top, which means you saw way too much of them. You saw an abnormal amount of them in that episode. There's also INV, which stands for invisible, which means you literally didn't see them at all. The second part to an Edgic rating is the tone. P added on to the end of the rating. It stands for positive tone. N stands for negative tone. M stands for mixed tones, means you get a little bit of both. And if you have no extra letter at all, it's just the 3 letters and then nothing afterward, then that means there's just toneless, no tone, neutral tone, nothing that's swaying one way or the other. And finally, the number in every Edgic rating is a visibility scale from 1 to 5 on how much screen time they got in the episode. 1-4, they didn't get very much screen time. 5-4, they got a ton of screen time. So, with all that being said, here we are talking about episode 5 of Survivor 49. Whew. Man, you know, I feel it's interesting. I feel like I was so Mr. Positive last season with Survivor 48. 48, I feel like, listen, I get why people didn't like it, but I still felt like there was still interesting stuff going on. The pre-merge was really good, and I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, this season could pick up, you know, the merge is supposed to be really exciting, and I am holding out hope that the merge will be exciting, but I don't have a lot of faith in that. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it, because based on the Edgic, it feels pretty clear the direction that the season is going. 2, even if it is not that, even if it does get really crazy, the pre-merge has just been so boring that it's been like, I mean, I still want to factor in the pre-merge. Like, I feel like I don't want to like just scuff off a pre-merge. In Australian Survivor, the pre-merge is the best part. You know, like, pre-merge is still good. I don't want to just get rid of that. And finally, I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious how this thing's going to end probably. So, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to hold on here. But we're holding on. We're holding on. Listen, I mean, I'm still here. I'm making the videos. But, you know, if you're struggling, you can tune in here. We'll have fun. I'll fill you in on what's going on in the episodes. If you don't want to watch them yourself, you can just listen to this. I'll tell you everything that's happening in terms of the predictions of what's going to happen moving forward. And then you can just go watch, you know, The Amazing Race or The Challenge or The Traders Canada, which are all, you know, a little bit more exciting right now. But we're here nonetheless to talk about Survivor 49. We lost another original Hina here. Jason was voted out. Not that surprising. Poor Jason. He got a tough draw here. I mean, listen, I predicted Shannon would leave last week, but I did think if the other tribe did go to tribal, I thought it would be Jason. I thought that Jawan was a smokescreen. The whole episode, I thought Jawan was a smokescreen. In terms of some of the clues that I was reading, in terms of why I was pretty sure that Jason was going out, obviously, historically, we've seen way more of Jawan. He's been built up more as a character. Jason just has such a minimal edit. It felt like very much the type of edit you get when you get voted out in like episode 5, 6, 7. Kind of in that range where you're not even on you're not making the jury, but you're also not like a big early boot. You kind of just like in that nebulous zone. Oftentimes people, oftentimes the episode 5 boot specifically is pretty under edited. If we look at other seasons in the new era, spoiler alert, I mean, last season we had like Bianca in episode 5 boot, pretty under edited. Annika, I mean, wasn't totally under edited, but was under edited to an extent. I guess Jem wasn't that much either, but like Brando, this felt like a very similar situation to what happened to Brando in 45. I mean, we had like the Pokemon conversation, like the nerd with glasses that got swap screwed. It felt like a pretty similar instance to that. So, yeah, it's not that surprising to see an episode 5 boot that's kind of an underrated person here. Also, in the episode, I felt like the Jawan boot was a little bit too telegraphed. I felt like we saw Nate and Savannah saying, like, would you vote for Jawan? Yes, I would. Okay, well, let's vote for Jawan. Something like that. And it felt like it was a little bit like, if Jawan does get voted out, I feel like they would make it more of like a whoa to the audience. They're kind of making it too much, right? The status quo is, I think that Jason is getting voted out. And then they really tried to convince me that Jawan was getting voted out, which is just made me even more convinced, as someone who is really paying attention, that Jason was getting voted out. If Jawan was getting voted out, I felt like it would have been a little bit more of a toss-up. It would have been like, oh, but maybe we should just vote out Jason. We would have seen them talking more about voting out Jason if it was Jawan, because then I would have been like, this is strange that it's kind of, I'm getting mixed signals here. I would think that it would just lean one way, depending on if it wasn't a blindside, right? And so that kind of made me think it's probably got to be Jason going here, because it just feels too obvious that it would be Jawan. Now, I wouldn't say too obvious, but it was like it was being built up too much that they were going to flip and turn on Jawan, which was a bad move. Just I completely disagree with that type of move. If you got the numbers in a swap, you just take advantage of it. If you get to the merge, then you can start branching out and making bonds with other people. I think they made the right move here, voting out Jason. Jason was a big threat in a lot of ways. He's very good in the puzzles. I think this was smart. So sad to see Jason go. We didn't get a ton of him on the show, but he seemed like a nice guy. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Again, I mean, the Hina tribe in general was pretty under-edited, and Jason was my bottom contender for multiple episodes in a row because we barely saw him. So not that surprised to see him go out here. In terms of edit, I don't know if it was a negative episode for Jason, really. Honestly, like, we got more of him. It felt honestly kind of toneless to me. I didn't really feel like I got a whole lot of like people liking or disliking Jason. There was a little bit of like Jawan kind of liked Jason. I mean, if it's a tone, it's a mixed tone, but I kind of think I would just go with a toneless, complex personality. Oops, wrong. I didn't copy it. Toneless, complex personality 3. I think. If we pull up the Edgic chart here, we have Edgic chart from Just Strategic on x.com. Thank you very much for the charts, as always. I think that Jason gets 5 confessionals. Pretty good. I think I would give him a 3. I don't think it was excessive, but it was solid. We got to see him talk about Pokemon again and all that jazz. So it was enough. It was enough. Just a CP3 on the way out. Strange boot rating, but that's the way it goes. And then we're going to jump up to the top of the list and go down in alphabetical order. hopping all the way up to Alex. I mean, this was an interesting episode for Alex. I felt like we didn't see we saw some strategic content from him talking about Shannon and how he thought he liked Shannon, but then he kind of was swayed away from it by Steven. We also saw, obviously, the big chicken scene, and he was kind of getting, like, emotional over that or whatever. So I think that this was a complex personality positive episode for Alex. I'm interested to see the confessional chart. 3 confessionals. I kind of want to give him a 3 as well. I felt like we, saw a good amount of him, but not, and again, not an excessive amount, but I do think it was positive leaning tone, kind of painting him a little bit sympathetic. We had that big moment where he was talking about how people kind of doubt him. They say he's too like nerdy or too feminine or weak or whatever. And then look at him. Now he's out here killing chickens on Survivor. He's a cool guy. He's a strong adventurer now or whatever. So yeah, I think that was a positive, sympathetic leaning tone there for sure for Alex. And then we will move on to Jawan, who had a very interesting edit here. I gave him 2 over-the-top mixed ratings in a row in the first 2 episodes. Then I bumped them down to much lower visibility in episodes 3 and 4. I kind of think I'm bouncing all the way back to the original rating of the OTT mixed. Either 3 or 4. I kind of think of 4. I kind of think an over-the-top mixed 4. I mean, let's check how many confessionals he got. He got 4 confessionals. Technically Jason got more, but I just feel like this was, again, like there was a lot of kind of piling on Jawan with the water bottle, and they were going to vote him out. There was a lot of, I was very tempted to give this a negativity rating. But I do still think there was like sympathetic stuff there for Jawan. I think Tribal Council was big for Jawan, where he gives like that kind of speech about how he doesn't always fit in, and he's just trying his best to kind of fit in with people and whatnot, and figure out social dynamics and whatever. We also saw like Jason kind of talk a little bit positively about Jawan, I believe, how he just gets along with him and he's just like a fun guy to talk to and nerd out with. So I think it was enough to keep it to a mixed rating. I'm shocked I haven't given Jawan a negative rating yet. But I do think there's some sympathy there. And I'm starting to wonder, is Jawan supposed to be the negatively painted one in the dynamic? I think edit-wise, it seems like he is, and maybe it's just biased, but I'm starting to think, like, is this like more like Savannah is just like being mean to Jawan, like bullying Jawan? Not bullying, but like Savannah's starting to seem like the villain in the dynamic. Honestly, it's tough. So it's enough to give him a mixed rating. I think 4. It could be a 3, but I still feel like there was a lot of Jawan in this episode. I think that's an appropriate rating. Kristina, I think I can give Kristina a middle of the road 2, maybe. I mean, I remember one moment from her where she was talking about how she was thinking about like turning on Shannon, how she thought she was chill with Shannon, but maybe she shouldn't be. That's like all I really remember from Kristina in this episode. She has 2 confessionals. I mean, listen, it's not a ton, but it was something. It was like a memorable moment, at least strategically. Finally got some strategic content from Kristina. So I enjoyed that. I don't think there was any tone here. I think a middle of the road too. MC, we saw a lot more from MC. She goes on the journey, which was big. We also got like a kind of another kind of sympathetic confessional moment from her where she talks about how she's kind of been bullied in the past and whatnot for her physique. I think that could be enough to give her a positive rating. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to think if it was a complex personality though. Even though, I mean, she did have a lot of content. I mean, MC, she does have 7 confessionals. So, I mean, I probably should give her a complex personality. it felt a little bit middle of the road to me. Like, she goes on the journey, but I feel like I just kind of saw her narrating the journey and whatnot. It wasn't like I saw her doing, like, I didn't see any advancements. I guess, like, that speech I just said about the bullying, that would be a complex personality moment. So that's, yeah. I was thinking, but strategically, I don't even really remember talking on the beach all that much or at camp. But it would be enough to, I think honestly, I think I might give it the same rating as Alex. I think they had pretty similar episodes, right? They both kind of had those sympathetic speeches in the confessional. Yeah, seems pretty appropriate to me. Nate, this I think was Nate's biggest episode. I've been giving him straight complex personality 3s every episode. Let's check his confessionals. 7 confessionals. I felt like I got a lot more Nate. I think I'm bumping Nate up to a 4. I think we're staying complex personality. I'm trying to think of a tone here. Because it kind of felt like a tone-ish episode to me for Nate. I think that Nate did some great stuff. Like, he did some great job strategizing on the journey. He played that journey fantastically. Really, really great stuff from Nate on the journey by connecting with MC, talk about like stories, trying to create a bond there for the future. Also, the way he got her to continue to help him finish the sandbags before they went to look for the advantage. And then, even then, he was like, actually, I don't even want this advantage. Let's just leave. And he even managed get her to do that. So, really impressive stuff here from Nate. I do feel like there was some negativity, again, kind of in the same realm I was talking about with Savannah. That felt like a little bit like not talking nice about Jawan. Also, there was a moment where Nate says "shut up" to Rizo, I think, during the challenge, which I thought was very funny. That was a really funny moment. Like, Rizo told him pick up his own. He was like "shut it, Rizo" or something. I thought that was great. So I'm just trying to think. I don't know. I don't know if it's enough to really give a tone. I kind of think maybe just a complex personality 4. Maybe a mixed. You can maybe go a mixed on it. But I think that's where I'm at on Nate right now. Rizo. Check Rizo's confessionals. He got 2 confessionals. I feel like I didn't get much from Rizo. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm bumping him back down to middle of the road 3. I mean, even a 3 is maybe generous. And maybe it could even be a middle of the road 2. I mean, we got to see him go to tribal at least. But we did not get much from Rizo. I don't remember Rizo talked about his idol really. I think maybe a 3 is all right. I mean, I felt like Rizo got more screen time generally than Kristina on the beach and whatnot, at least. So, yeah, but otherwise, not a ton here from Rizo, honestly. Sage, whoa, big episode for Sage. Big episode for Sage. I think this is absolutely a complex personality positive episode for Sage. Undoubtedly. I think a 4, maybe. Could even go a 5 on it. I'm going to go with the 4. On the confessionals, Sage, 7 confessionals. So in line with MC and Nate makes sense. Yeah, I mean, big episode. We got a ton from her. She's absolutely the rootable kind of underdog being painted as right now, especially in the dynamic with Shannon. She's getting a leg up on Shannon. This is a big rivalry. Clearly, Sage is the kind of good guy, in the dynamic. She's the protagonist, I guess, of the dynamic there in the way it's been edited. Absolutely a complex personality positive 4, I think. Savannah. Now, Savannah is very interesting because I was talking about how I kind of feel like she's kind of a villain. I kind of want to give her a negative tone, but I don't know if that's anything from what the episode is telling us or if that's just how I'm feeling about it. I kind of think that's just bias. I really like Savannah. I'm not saying I like. I just feel like she's kind of being like a Tyson. Like I would give Tyson a negative rating, right? Tyson's still great. Still was one of the best players on the show. Still won the season. Tyson was still good. But I would give him negative ratings just because he was kind of talking crap about people, and I kind of feel that way about Savannah right now in this episode. It might not make sense, but like to heck with it. I'm giving a complex personality -5. She got a ton of screen time. I mean, again, 11 confessionals. She passes Alex to be the confessional leader now of the season so far. It could be another straight toneless probably. I don't think it was mixed. So I probably would go either negative toneless on it. The negative is just vibes. It's fine. Be a strategic, cunning villain. That's good. I like that for Savannah, honestly, right now. Like, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think giving her the negative rating is like, oh, I think she's cooked, right? If anything, a complex personality negative is what you want, right? Over the top negative, not so good. Middle of the road negative, not so good. But a complex personality negative, that's when you're like, oh, I'm a strategic villain. That's like sick and dope, like. So I think this is fine for Savannah. I'm gonna give it that. I would love to hear what people have to say if they totally disagree with me. I don't. Maybe they do, but that's how I feel on it right now. Now Shannon. Confessionals on Shannon. Let's take a look. Only 6, which technically is less than people I gave 4s to, but I kind of want to give her an over the top -5. It felt like so much of this episode was just dunking on Shannon. Like, constantly. Like, all the conversations that were going on the New Calais beach were all about dunking on Shannon and how she was like too strategic. Now there is like a smidge of positivity to it because they are calling her like a big threat and strategic. So like those are good things. But it's so clear that she is the antagonist to Sage's protagonist right now. It's so clear that like everybody wanted her out this episode. I'm shocked they didn't even throw the challenge to get rid of her. It's not that it's like that negative, right? Like I wouldn't say this is like she's not like a Rome even, like it's not that bad because there is some good positivity to it, but it just was so much about that, and it was like negative that I have to give it an over the top negative. It could be a 4. I just feel like she was so much more of a presence, dominating presence in the episode, more than Nate or MC were. Like this episode was like about the downfall of Shannon, even though they didn't go to tribal, right? That's kind of how I feel on it. So giving them that. Sophie, yikes, 1 confessional. 1. I would say I'm still gonna give her a middle of the road because the 1 confessional was still pretty good. It was still pretty substantive. We learned why we didn't see much from her. But this was a bad episode for Sophie. It was kind of a cool down episode, so that's okay. I mean, she got a ton. I gave her 2 5 ratings in a row. So I'm going to give her middle of the road 2. I feel like I got a scene from her that was similar to the scene from Kristina, right? So it wasn't so bad, but it wasn't great for Sophie. Not a ton there. Now, Sophie S, Sophie with an E, gets that UTR 1. I mean, come on now. I mean, let's take a look at her confessionals. Guess what? It's 1. Again, this is absurd. No! Purple Sophie? My winner pick is Purple Sophie? I can't believe it. I'm so bummed. And we're getting a little too far. We're 5 episodes in. She's still purple Sophie. I'm like, I don't know if we're getting that Genevieve effect I was hoping for. At best, she can turn out like a Mary, maybe. But I don't necessarily know if she's going out soon. We'll talk about them predictions, but it's, not looking good for Sophie. Steven, we got some good stuff from, though. We saw him talking very strategically. We saw kind of leading the tribe, kind of turning the crowd on Shannon. I don't know if it was positive tone. I feel like the positive tone lent more towards Alex than Steven in that chicken scene. But I do think it was pretty good for Steven. How many confessionals did Steven have? Only 3 confessionals, which is, I mean, I guess it's the same as Alex. So I think I might give him a complex personality 3. Straightforward. This is a pretty good episode for Steven. So those are the ratings. We will now move on to the contender rankings. And then after we're done with contenders, we will do the predictions for next time. So here we are in the contender rankings. Jason obviously was dead last time. He's dead last also in episode 2. Pretty low in episode 1, but not the worst. Episode 3, Kristina went below him, but yeah, I nailed it, right? I had Annie dead last, she went out. Had Jason dead last, he went out. So I mean, that's pretty good. Now, people might question this. This is not a ranking the order of who I think is going out. This is just purely based on who is most likely to win. But when I do have my last contender get voted out, it just feels good because I'm like, well, I was right. They definitely were not going to win. So much so that they were getting voted out next. So, yeah. But anyways, in terms of the contenders, I think it's no surprise. I'm definitely putting Sophie in dead last at this point. My winner pick in dead last. It breaks my heart. But it's absolutely so. Sophie only gets confessionals talking about food. I don't know if you noticed this. Literally, that is all she says in the episodes. She talked this time about, what did she even talk about this time? She said something about food this time. She's talked about complaining about the fruit. She's talked about how there's like no food on the Keller Beach. Like it's the only thing we see from her. Oh, I think something about the chickens probably was this. That was her one confessional. It's nothing. I mean, it's purple Sophie. All she talks about is food. It's a bummer. I love Sophie. I really do. She's still my winner pick. I mean, not really. Like, I don't think she's going to win. But I still love her. I hope she does win somehow, okay? She's not going to, but I'm still rooting for her. Kristina's going next. Yeah, I mean, just not great stuff here from Kristina. Got a little bit of strategic content first time of the whole season that we finally got strategic content from Kristina. I just think there's no way that Kristina wins. I mean, it's more likely than Sophie. I mean, it's possible, but pretty unlikely. Now, honestly, after this point, I'm a little bit tossed up. Because there are changes I want to make here. But I'm not sure exactly how I want to make changes. Honestly, I think I'm keeping MC next. I would love to move MC up, but I still feel like her edit in the first few episodes was so bad. She had such a bad premiere, like a really, really bad premiere. And that is huge, right? I have not seen a winner have that bad of a premiere in a long time. If she wins, I'm still holding out on that. Yes, she's gotten some good content, but like, honestly, I feel like people just like her more than the amount of content she's getting. You know, like, she's really not gotten that much focus. This was her biggest episode for sure. And I like MC. This is not like a critique of MC. This is just a critique of like, I think people are like grasping to like thinking that MC is like a main character when actually they just like MC. She has not gotten that much content, I think. I just don't think that she is more likely to win than any of these people that have gotten more content. And I think that her prospects honestly aren't looking that good right now, which we'll get to. But I just think I can't put MC any higher. I got to put her third to last. Now, this is where I'm going to change some things. It's not going to be Steven next. Honestly, I'm really, really conflicted on who it will be next. I'm going to put Shannon next. I'm going to put Shannon, but Shannon's getting bumped down. She's just got really negative stuff. Now, there are aspects of Shannon's edit that are still really good because people still are calling her a really big threat. They're still saying that she's like good at the game, even though everyone's seeing through it. She's doing a lot. There's still like good stuff to her edit. But I also think there's just so much unnecessarily negative content that it doesn't need to be there if she wins. Like, and it's not in like, I want to say it's in the worst way it could be, but it is kind of like, it's just kind of icky, right? And it's clearly she's kind of an antagonist here. I just don't think she wins with that amount of negativity, you know? I think that, again, there's good stuff there, but it's probably less likely than these other people at this point. So, she's going that low. I think I'm going to put Jawan next. Whoops, down a row. At number 8. Jawan has had a weird edit so far, but he is like been a big character. I do think it's very possible Jawan could be an easy early merge boot that like nobody's really sticking up for. That kind of seems pretty likely at this point. However, I do think that there is some sense that like you know, the Jawan Savannah dynamic is clearly, you know, Savannah's clearly the more important character, but like also Savannah's kind of the antagonist in that dynamic. Maybe not edgically, and that's kind of why I put Jawan lower. But like she really is, like Jawan's chilling. Like he's not doing anything that harmful. I did like that sympathetic speech from him at Tribal. There was like definitely some awareness there as well. I don't think it's impossible that we have like some surprise turnaround where Jawan ends up winning. Maybe not beating Savannah at the end, but like Savannah gets like clipped at the end. Or Jawan just straight up beats Savannah in the final 3. And it's like, oh, this sympathetic poor little guy that Savannah was kind of talking crap about beat him, you know, like it's kind of maybe like, you know, like a bitter jury kind of situation. It's grasping at straws. There's not much hope, but I can make a pitch, right? Which is better. I can't really make a pitch for these people, 3 people on the bottom. I can make a pitch for Shannon, but I can make a better pitch for Jawan. Steven is going up to number 7. I mean, I saw people complaining that I put Steven too low. Oh, Complex tried this. Steven's got a better edit than a lot of these other people. I mean, yes, you're probably right. I mean, Steven's edit is pretty good. He does get the best content from Hina. He had the best premiere on Hina. Well, I mean, he wasn't my top contender from Hina at the time, but he did get the most content from Hina in the premiere. And I thought it was going to lead to his downfall, but it didn't. And he's still here. He gets the most. He's the strategic narrator of the original Hinas. Always has been. I don't think he wins. But he's got like less negatives to his individual edit than all these people below him. Right? I still don't think he wins because he's from original Hina. So there's no shot. Right? But he has a better individual edit than the people that are below him. And that's why he's up at 7. I don't really want to put him that high because I don't think there's any chance he wins, but it just makes sense. Sage is going at number 6. Great stuff from Sage here. A lot more content. Very positive tone on Sage right now. I don't think she wins. I don't even necessarily think that she beats Shannon. I think that she may go out before Shannon, but like the impact will live on and Shannon will lose eventually, right? I don't think it's a given that Sage comes out on top of the dynamic. But I do think you're meant to root for Sage. She's a rootable character. I don't think she wins. She didn't have a great premiere. I put her pretty low. I put her pretty low in most of the episodes. But her premiere had like a little bit of something to it. Like there was a little bit of character moments that I didn't really think would lead to anything. But these little kind of tidbits of character moments are slowly building into like kind of a rootable underdog storyline that I didn't necessarily think it was going to, but it is. And now that we're to this point, I kind of think, well, this could snowball into Sage being like the main character of the season, maybe. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think she's going to be the main character, but she's becoming a big part of it at this point. So she's got that number 6 spot. Still kind of under-edited, still not great. I still wouldn't put her too high, but honestly, she could even crack the top 5 if she keeps this up next week. But I'm going to put Rizo at 5 for now. I don't love Rizzo's edit. I don't think Rizzo's winning. But he's got less flaws than all the people below him. Okay? His edit is not great. It's not a winner's edit, I don't think. But he still had a fantastic premiere. He did, even though I didn't put him that high. He had a lot of content in the premiere. And he's just been okay, right? He's been good enough. I don't really have a lot of critiques. I do think he's a little bit under-edited for what I would like to see for a winner's edit. But it's not been, like, atrocious to the point that, like, I would rule him out. I still think he's, on average, had better content than Sage, even though Sage is building a better storyline at this point. So, he's at 5 by default. Alex is staying at 4. Alex, I mean, had good content here. But I just think that, sure, Alex is one of the bigger aspects of the season so far. Again, he's not my winner pick right now. But I do think he could win. He's got a good at it. He's got a good at it. It's solid, right? We've seen him in strategic conversations consistently. We've now finally gotten some kind of like sympathetic, personal character moments from him. He did like get an intro package in the very first episode at the very beginning. I believe he was the first. I think he had the first confessional of the season, I think, if you don't count Jawan's opening monologue. So that's pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot of positives to his edit. I'm not incredibly high on his chances right now, but there's a lot going. Now, this is going to be a big change. In episode 2, I said, Sophie, you had a bad episode. I had to punish you for it. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to punish you again. You got to go down to 3. Oops, not not going to cover Alex. You got to go down to number 3. And listen, Sophie's maybe the most likely person to watch this video on this cast. If anyone's going to watch it. I'm sorry, Sophie. I got to bump you down to 3. I just think that this was like not a good episode. We got some explanation for why we didn't see that much of her. I do think this could be a shielding episode. In Edgic, there is the concept of kind of shielding when maybe someone is not in a good state. Maybe they're not like on the top of the dynamics right now, or maybe people are even talking negatively about them in some way. You don't see as much content of them because they're shielding them from getting potentially negative content. Or maybe like they wanted something to happen and things didn't go their way, whatever it is. They get minimal content during those points in time so that they don't have to show what would have been negative content, right? This is pretty common in a winner's edit. That could be the case here for Sophie. I don't think it's impossible at all. But it was just such a bad episode. I have to punish her. I got to bump her down to 3. I really was worried she was going to get 0 confessionals this episode for a majority of it. I was like, this is going to be really bad for my contenders if she gets 0. She got 1. Which is good enough to keep her up there. But 1 is still pretty bad. It's still not good. I would punish a 2 a lot less than I punish a 1. So she drops down to 3. I still think it's very possible she wins. I was very confident in her the past couple weeks. I still have a lot of hope for her. I still think Sophie's going to be in here for a long time. I think Sophie's probably going to be in the finale episode, but got a bumper. Nate, he's on a steady incline from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2. Here he is, baby. Let's go, Big Nate. Listen, I mean, Nate's just been getting good stuff, and this is his best episode yet. He got the most content we've seen from him. We saw him really kind of showing some strategic chops, some scheming. He's got power in his tribe. He's a leader. He's getting things done. He's getting his way. Nate's doing great. Nate the Great. I mean, truthfully, I think he's had a very good edit so far. It's not been excessive, right? It's not been clobbering you over the head with Nate so far, but it's been good. And I just think he had such a significantly better episode this week than Sophie did that I gotta bump her below him. Great job, Nate. Good stuff this week. I don't know if he wins. I think he could get clipped. I think Sophie's more likely. I think I would put more money on Sophie going further in the game than Nate still. But I just think, listen, we get so little from so many of these people that Nate's edits is shining compared to everybody else, you know? And Savannah's number one. I mean, so much content this episode. So much content last episode. Just excessive amount of content for Savannah. This is abnormal. It's giving Australia versus the world. If you watch that season, that's kind of what this is feeling like to me. If you catch my drift. But yeah, I just think that Savannah has to be number one at this point. Sophie could go back up. I would not be surprised. But yeah, I mean, Savannah's just been so much dominance in the edit. This is an extremely lopsided edited season with Savannah way out in front. With, these like three, maybe, three out in front. These two kind of falling behind, and everyone else like really getting the bare minimum. So yeah, I think Savannah's obviously the top contender at this point, and that is just the way it is. So we'll copy our top 5, post it over in our Edgic chart so you can see the entire chart of what is going on at this point in the season. And with that, it is time to talk about my predictions for next episode and the future of the season. I'm going to say there was stuff that was figured out from the next time on Survivor about tribe dynamics, new tribes, perhaps. If you don't want to know that, spoiler alert for the tribe swap, but just spoiler alert for tribe swap for next episode. That's all it is. I'm going to be showing a graphic here that shows all of the new tribes for next episode, allegedly. Here we have the new tribes. I believe this is from Mike Bloom, I think, on Twitter. These are the 3 new tribes, allegedly, for next episode. And this, I can't really do predictions without knowing this. So, on New Hina, we have MC, Rizo, Savannah, and Sophie B. On New Kelly, we have Sage, Shannon, Jawan, and Steven. And on New Uli, we have Kristina, Sophie S, Nate, and Alex. So very interesting. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I'm honestly pretty surprised that they're really restructuring the format this season, considering that, I mean, this is like the last season of the new era. I kind of felt like they would just ride out the new era and keep it consistent and then start, making changes with 51, 52. But no, we're seeing a lot of changes this season. This is the first time in a long time we're not merging in episode 6. Usually we merge in episode 6. Usually we vote up 5 people and then merge in episode 6. The medevac does throw it off a little bit with Jake. So that changed how many people out of the game, but still I thought episode 6 would still be when we would have mergatory. But when not, we might not get Mujitari at all. We might not get a double boot at all. This is interesting. Listen, the season is not giving, but at least we're getting new, twists in the new era. Well, maybe not new twists, but like things we haven't seen in the new era in terms of how the show is structured, at least. So that's interesting. So, here we are with the 3 new tribes. I think, based on these tribe dynamics, now a lot of people would probably assume that Shannon is going out next. I do think that that's still very possible. I think this saves Jawan. Jawan is good right now. I don't see Jawan leaving on the blue tribe if they lose. Even though he is the odd man out, I guess he could get picked off. But I still think that Sage and Steven would rather go for Shannon than Jawan if they're going to pick off an Uli. I don't think there's much benefit to keeping Shannon over Jawan at this point. She is the bigger threat. I could see it bouncing on to Sage. I don't think it would be Steven, but it could be original Uli strong against Steven here. Jawan kind of feels the safest to me, surprisingly. But I do think if this tribe loses, I think it would probably be Shannon out of the 4. If the red tribe, I don't think the red tribe is losing, because I think if the red tribe loses, it has to be Kristina or Sophie, and I have no idea how that happens. Because I don't know why those two flip on each other. Unless they literally go to fire making, I don't know why they wouldn't just pick off Nate. I don't know why Alex wouldn't just work with these two to pick off Nate, which is possible. But if Nate leaves next episode, we are in for a real dog of a season, edgically moving forward. Because, man, that would suck. So I have to assume that Red is not going to lose, even though it seems like maybe they should. But I just don't think it's possible. I don't think we can lose Alex or Nate, and I don't know how we lose one of these two unless we go to forced fire making, I guess, in a tie vote. Does that even work? No, that wouldn't even happen. They would draw rocks. They could draw rocks. I don't know why Alex would go to rocks for Nate. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know. So I think that tribe's not losing, basically, is my point. And that brings us to the new Hina tribe. Savannah, Sophie, Rizo, and MC. I said it earlier, a part of the reason why I kept MC so low in my rankings, I kind of think MC might be the next boot based on these tribe dynamics. She doesn't have that much content. It would make sense for her to go out in this spot, honestly. These 3 aren't leaving. Just going to say that right now. 0 chance that we lose Savannah, Sophie, or Rizo. Well, we could. I guess Sophie had a bad episode, but I still don't think. There's no way. There's no way any of these 3 are leaving. So it has to be MC if they lose. And that seems like the easiest result, because the blue tribe dynamics are so complicated that it's tough for me to really predict. Red tribe, it seems like Kristina or Sophie would be sensible next boots, but there's no way that I don't know how that happens, right? So in terms of how the edit's going and contenders and who's getting content and whatnot, it seems like the most straightforward result would be that MC gets picked off on a yellow tribe next time. That seems like the easiest thing, which would mean that Sophie is going back to tribal, unfortunately. But it would be really exciting for her to go to every tribal this season. So I think it's between MC and Shannon for the next boots. It's honestly so difficult for me to really decide which would be which. I do think it seems like Shannon's probably going soon. I don't think Shannon's on the jury. But I kind of think this would make a lot of sense for MC to go. I don't know. I think I'm going to say MC. I'm jumping ship. I've guessed Shannon twice in a row and I was wrong. So I think I'm going to guess MC is next. I think I have to do it. And listen, if I'm wrong and Shannon leaves, then I'll have to take that on the chin, you know. But, I got to stake my claim somewhere. I'm just kind of sick of guessing Shannon every time. And, yeah, so I'm going to guess MC leaves. If Shannon leaves, I mean, I'm still not, surprised. I still feel like that's vaguely a win. But not like a legitimate win, But those are my predictions for next time. Otherwise, I mean, I don't think any of my other predictions have really changed all that much. Still think that basically these three are going to probably dominate in Alliance throughout the merge. Nate's probably with them if Nate leaves. Oh, God help this season. I think that this storyline could go further than we might expect. That's kind of why I think it might not end yet. I thought it would end this episode, and it didn't. But it could end. It could be building up just to end next episode. It's possible. So that's possible. I think Jawan's going to make it further than we expect. I don't think he's going out next time. So it just kind of leaves me thinking that MC's gone. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. And that is my Edgic ratings and all that jazz for this week. Hope you enjoyed. Press that subscribe button if you want to see more fantastic Edgic content coming at you next week for what we talk about the second swap of the season. Maybe we'll get some interesting Edgic stuff next season. Hey, or next episode, hopefully. So yeah, tune back in. I'm gonna keep doing this all season long. Maybe I'll throw something else in there at some point, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm enjoying doing the Edgic still. Still love making these videos, talking. Love all the engagement with the comments on the last video. Really appreciated it. It's always fun. So yeah, it's been good. If you enjoyed, I will see you all next time. I've been North, and stay frosty, y'all.